A little over a year later, in the Soviet city of Yalta, in February 1945, the three leaders, FDR, Churchill, and Stalin, met to discuss several different things. First of all, World War One, when the League of Nations was proposed by Churchill, the United States government soundly rejected it. But it became clear after World War II that a larger world order to help promote the idea of world peace so as to stave off the idea of large scale world wars was needed. So, what you see here is the advent of the United Nations, where every country in the world would have representation, would have a voice, and then there would be a Grand Security Council comprised of five of the world's largest economic superpowers: the United States, Great Britain, France, the Soviet Union, and China. Hold that thought. Otherwise, these security councils would be the biggest representatives for how certain things should go and how things might perhaps be divided and how economic stability can be perhaps achieved, perhaps how wars can be thwarted and avoided. Otherwise, though, the United States government, the Senate, largely, supermajority largely ratified it. So, yeah, you're going to have that. The problem is, Joseph Stalin had started to take quite a bit of freedom, if you will. Ironic I say that. Liberty, perhaps. Also ironic that I say that. Um, Remember in the previous video, I had mentioned how in Poland in particular, the British and the Americans had a number of Polish government officials exiled representing Poland from London. And then, of course, Stalin had his in Lublin um, that are pro communist. Stalin, because he was able to thwart the German army in the Soviet Union, therefore making a westward push towards Berlin, had been able to station Soviet troops all throughout the Eastern European side. And because of which, Joseph Stalin interpreted that as now being able to set up governments under his puppet authority because, well, he had taken control of those lands. He had asked for the United States and Great Britain to invade mainland Europe a couple years before. They decided not to. They decided to start with North Africa and work their way up to France. Meanwhile, the Soviets are going westward, thwarting the German army. They're setting up puppet governments everywhere they take control, i.e., pro communist governments. So, the question at Yalta now also comes into play. So, it's one thing to have the United Nations that can help prevent future conflicts and give our world better voice. It's another thing to decide how you're going to split Poland. How are you going to occupy Germany? How is Germany eventually going to be reunited? Is it going to be reunited? The Soviet Union basically has demands for heavy German reparations. They're going to inhabit larger swaths of Eastern Germany and Poland and set up their governments, all while the Allies are still focused on moving eastward and then on the Pacific. Ooh, okay. So at Yalta, Joseph Stalin reaffirmed, yeah, once the European conflict is over, we're going to go ahead and help on the Pacific side to defeat the Japanese. Yes, that will happen. Otherwise, though, Stalin is slowly taking control of Eastern Europe, including eastern half of Germany, and now the occupations and governments to be set up in Germany and those parts of Europe, that's a bit unspecified and it's really unclear. And it's clear, though, that Britain and Germany, or rather Britain and the United States, have very different interpretations as what exactly was agreed upon at Yalta. Joseph Stalin and the Soviets interpreted as take as much as you can, put your troops there, you will have the authority to set up government, i.e., pro communist government. Yalta.